Holy shit, didn't realize this was going to happen, but couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. The Trump curse strikes again. Alec Baldwin to be charged in the shooting of Rust cinematographer. Okay, what are going to be the charges in this one? Okay, because I've seen a couple of things thrown out there, so hopefully we can get to the bottom of this. A prosecutor in New Mexico announced on January 19th, that's today, that actor Alec Baldwin will be charged in connection with a shooting of a cinematographer who died on the set of Rust, a western that was being filmed in the state. Yeah, we know. Because all of this stuff happened end of 2021. Like, it took you that long to figure out that, yeah, the guy who pointed and shot the gun probably should be held criminally liable in some form or fashion, okay? Because one person was injured and a lady died. Santa Fe District Attorney Mark Carmack Altwise, said in a statement that Baldwin and Halyna Gutierrez-Reed, the film's armor, the bitch who didn't check any of the rounds, like, all looks fine, I just gotta go suck some dick off screen. Fucking goofy bitch. Nepotism kills. Legitimately. Will both be charged in the alternative with 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter. So both of them get involuntary manslaughter. One for not checking the firearm, and the other one for loading the firearm, okay? That actually seems like a fair charge, okay? Because I would agree, okay? Because Alec Baldwin has said, I didn't know the gun was loaded. I didn't point it at her. I didn't pull the trigger. I wasn't even there that day. He said a bunch of dumb shit, okay? And obviously, okay, he was holding the gun. He shot the gun, okay? She died. Did he know? He was informed that there were blanks, okay, that there were just dummy rounds inside of the prop gun that shot a real bullet. So it's like, okay, didn't anticipate doing it. Some form of a manslaughter charge is more than warranted, okay? I'm just kind of shocked to see this. So ultimately, it's going to go to trial, and that one right there, as we've been kind of blue-balled, I think, on the Marilyn Manson stuff. I think that shit got, anti-slap down, which is kind of retarded, but looks like maybe at the end of the year might get a charge on this one, okay, or might get a trial on this, because I don't know how you plead. He might get a plea deal. Anyway, see, we got some more speculation here, but let's get over the fact. Movie's assistant director, David Halls, has agreed to sign a plea agreement for the charge of negligent use of a deadly weapon, according to the district attorney. Under New Mexico law, sorry, a lot of words there, involuntary manslaughter, a 4th-degree felony, okay, is punishable by up to 18 months in jail and a $5,000 fine. Oh man, but Alec Baldwin is just a new father. You can't do that. That'd be big mean, and he's on the right side politically. Can't be doing that. Right side, as in like the correct side, not in the right side, because otherwise he would have been charged with 1st-degree murder. You wanted to kill that little white woman. After a thorough review of the evidence and the laws of the state of New Mexico, I have determined that there is sufficient evidence to file criminal charges against Alec Baldwin and other members of Rust film crew, Carmack Altwez said, noting that charges will be filed before the end of the month. Cool. Charges were announced after more than a year of investigation into the on-set shooting of Halyna Hutchins, 42, a cinematographer who was fatally shot on October 21st, 2021. Fuck, it was that long ago? Holy shit. And now finally there's some form of justice being found for the Hutchins family, when Baldwin, 63, pointed a long old .45 Colt in the direction of her, shooting Joel Souza while rehearsing a gunfight scene. The revolver discharged at live ground. I didn't pull the trigger. It's like, it's a revolver, bro. Okay, the hammer was cocked and you pulled the trigger. No amount of lying and trying to gaslight you into the situation will make Halyna come back from the dead. You did it, okay? Just fucking deal with it. Gutierrez-Reed, the armorer who oversaw the firearms on the set, very poorly. Okay, and the only reason that she got the job is because her old man is an armorer in the biz, and, well, she has, there are enough boxes that she can check in order for, quotas to be met on a set, and let's just say that she's an attractive woman if you're into whales. An attorney for Gutierrez-Reed said the armorer didn't put a live round in the gun that killed Hutchins, and believes that she was a victim of a sabotage. Yes, Trump supporters sabotaged a fucking, indie Western film in New Mexico. Okay. Authorities said that they found no evidence of that. Of course, that's a ludicrous assertion. Oh, she was sabotaged. It was still her fucking job, okay? It would almost be as stupid as blaming a bar or trying to sue them after you got drunk and plowed into a house, exploding half of a block. Spoiler on a video that's going to be coming up within the next week or so. Baldwin previously said that he didn't pull the trigger. Well, guess what? Found out that was the lie detector test determined that was a lie. However, FBI agents conducted a discharge test of the firearm used in the shooting, and according to their forensic report, like, hey man, we took the gun, we threw it on the ground. No discharge. Okay, we cocked the hammer back, we threw it on the ground again. No discharge. Okay, we grabbed it, we shook it around, and no discharge. So the only way that you could make that cylinder turn and that round discharge out the barrel is if you pulled that motherfucker, and that's exactly what they found there. I'm just wondering why the feds are involved on this one. I guess they got brought in to help, but I want to know more about these charges. Obviously, they haven't been filed yet, but before the end of the month, and what are we on, the 19th? Okay, like, it's real fucking tight here. So, Alec Baldwin could face 5 years in jail over a shooting, but we just heard it's a minimum 18-month stay. So, how do you get to 5 years? That's what I want to know about this. Okay, Alec Baldwin could be behind bars for 5 years if he's convicted in the death of Rust cinematographer Halyna Hutchins, but the disgraced actor has vowed to fight the charges. Okay, so he's going to be going to trial? Is that what we're going to be seeing here? Because I hope we get to see it. But if this is a Fed charge, nobody's going to see it, and this is just going to go down in the cover of night. And that would be a huge disservice to everybody. Baldwin, 64, will be charged on 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter for Hutchins. October 2021 death on the set of the Western film. Yeah, we know. The 30 Rock star. The Glenn Ross star. Let's go with that. It's far better. Who accidentally fired the fatal shot that killed Hutchinson, was charged in the alternative, meaning if he's found guilty, the jury will have to choose between 2 charges. Thank you for cleaning that up, okay, because that seemed like strange wording. First charge, involuntary manslaughter, is a 4th-degree felony carrying a maximum sentence of 18 months in prison. The second charge, involuntary manslaughter in the commission of a lawful act, interesting, is also punishable with up to an 18-month stay in prison, but prosecutors tacked on a firearm enhancement to the charge, which would mandate Baldwin spend 5 years behind bars. Ooh, please that one, because, well, Alec Baldwin is kind of a shit human being. And the fact that he lied so long, I'm just saying. The film's armorer, Halyna Gutierrez-Reed, who loaded the prop gun that Baldwin shot, faces the same charge as the actor. Because this will be interesting. That's why I desperately want to see this trial, not for just the star power of this, okay? Because here you have a very famous lefty, like maybe Rob Reiner, maybe Stephen King, but no more vocal of a Trump hater than Alec Baldwin that you have on one hand going to trial, okay? I would love to see how the courts handle that. And then at the same time, you've also got just a pleasantly plump little girl who's getting charged with this stuff as well, okay? I know she's like, well, she looks 40, okay? But she's only 20-something, okay? You've got these 2, let's call this exactly what this is, 2 privileged classes right here. I just want to know how a murder is ultimately going to get sourced out. In a liberal state, they're kind of going through an identity crisis in New Mexico. It's kind of fucking weird, okay? I want to see how they handle this stuff in court, because what's more important, fame or female? That's something I want to see investigated, okay? This decision distorts Halyna Hutchins' tragic death that represents a terrible miscarriage of Justice Luke Nikas. Nikas. The lawyers representing Baldwin, who told the Post that he would fight these charges and win. You pulled the trigger, bro. Mr. Baldwin had no reason to believe that there was a live bullet in that gun. Yeah, that's why he's charged with involuntary manslaughter. You still did it, okay? And it's like if somebody's lying behind your vehicle when you back it out of your garage, you're still culpable to some extent, okay? Because, again, you could have checked that the round wasn't live, okay? You ultimately could have done that. And just like you're liable for anything that happens in the vicinity of a vehicle that you're operating, okay? He relied on the professional whom he worked, who assured him the gun did not have any live rounds. See, it's not my problem I shot her dead. It's somebody else's. It doesn't really connect the dots. Jason Bowles, the lawyer for Gutierrez-Reed, told the Post his client did not commit involuntary manslaughter. Yeah, I didn't pull the trigger. I just loaded the gun. I don't know, you're both kind of culpable here. Said the DA's investigation into the shooting was very flawed. All right, well, that'll come out in court. Los Angeles criminal law defense attorney Lou Shapiro said it's possible Baldwin could come out on top. Yeah, he's rich and he's going to have a very good defense team. Okay, let's keep it a buck. Especially since he already settled a civil suit over the shooting with Hutchins' family in October. He settled a civil suit that's probably not going to be allowed into court on that one. And I think the Hutchins family got like $6 and a, fucking selfie or something like that. Like he'll sign your t-shirt. Like it was pretty fucking pitiful. Yeah, pitiful. He's like, hey, don't you guys need some extra cash for Christmas? He said prosecutors don't have an easy sell for Baldwin because there were several other people who handled that weapon before him. Yeah, but did anybody else pull the trigger? Because that's a pretty big selling point. That's exclusive domain over old picture poser right there. Baldwin's role as the producer on Rust could certainly work against him, though. Yeah, because he's, again, okay, you want to wrap this all around? There was a lot of people on set, but who was in charge? Oh, the producer. Who was a producer on the set? That would be Al. Fuck, you got me on that one. If he was merely an actor, I don't know how he would have been charged. Again, pulling... Shapiro said, I think the producer of the set imputes a certain amount of responsibility as to what happens on the set. Yes, thank you. Baldwin's mouthpiece will likely put the blame on Gutierrez-Reed, and this is where it could get spicy if they're both tried at the same time, because this is for the exact same incident. It could... I don't know for sure. I don't know for sure if these are going to be running concurrent with one another or if one trial is going to begin because, oh man, that would really, really taint the pool. But if the defense team is going to work in conjunction with one another, but it kind of relies, both of their innocence kind of relies on the other person being incompetent, because somebody's going to get convicted in this. That's my gut feeling on this, but we don't have all of the evidence that the New Mexico prosecutor's office has that led to these charges, okay? Which, given the fact that this was, 15 odd months after the fact, they got to have something. But outside of the memes and how funny it is that somebody who is just a vociferous shot taker in the metaphorical and physical sense is Alec Baldwin, and Gutierrez-Reed, who might just do cringy TikTok dances, but ultimately they're both innocent until proven guilty, and the burden of proof is on the state in this case. So they could both end up ultimately walking free, but does somebody fold and snitch on the other beforehand, and would there even be a plea agreement to be made? Okay, because they got one guy to flip, okay, and he got, an unlawful possession, he had to sign a check with, 1 comma in it, okay, maybe. Like it says here, okay, Gutierrez-Reed and other crew members, as his lawyer claims that the actor hired experts to ensure that the set was safe. Okay, so they're going to try to use this odd tactic where, as a producer, he ensured that the set was to be safe because he hired a bunch of professionals, okay? But the professionals that he hired at his discretion also loaded the firearm that he didn't know how to have a live round in it. So if they can find a way to work that angle and convince a jury of his peers and her peers as well, wouldn't that would mean that both of them are probably guilty of the crime? So it would be interesting to see how these trials are ultimately, booked. Because the facts, what we know is the public, they aren't exactly all that favorable to old Alec. He pointed the gun at the camera. Halyna was by the camera, okay? The director was behind him as well. Allegedly, the shot did not call for him to cock the hammer back or pull the trigger at all, okay? That's what was alleged. Could be different in the evidence. They have the script ultimately. I haven't seen it leaked out anywhere, and regardless, that really wouldn't change all that much if we're keeping it a buck. We know that Gutierrez-Reed put that round into the chamber, okay, and, missed a couple of steps in order to check, okay. There were some live rounds put in with the dummy rounds. That's what's been alleged as well. So her part in this is totally concrete. So unless they have a way of sowing some sort of reasonable doubt into her not being competent and her doing the job appropriately, I'm going to find it tough for her to beat these charges. But as for Baldwin, he is famous, and that does go a certain way. But ultimately, this is all about a woman who's been dead for 15 months, and her family has been without a mother and a wife for that long, and nobody's ultimately been held responsible until this goes to trial. But we'll see. We'll see when the charges get laid, when everything gets scheduled, and if there's going to be cameras in the courtroom, because nobody's going to want to miss this, because it will be very interesting, and I will definitely be there for it. So, with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.